The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Belmont at the Big A. At this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, direct your attention to the infield as we honor America with the national anthem. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Live Racing Belmont at the Big A. The main track is fast. The turf is firm. Here are today's early changes for Belmont at the Big A. Race 1, start of the early pick 5 is clear, no changes. Race 2, start of the early pick 4, scratch the 4, Jake Rocks. The 9, Bezos, will have one aluminum pad on. Race 3 is clear, no changes. Race 4, scratch the 5, Rebo's Valentine. Race 5, start of the pick 6, scratch the 1, Appalachian Trail. Scratch the 8, Sun B. Rider change on the 11. On the payroll, make it Dylan Davis. Race 6, start of the late pick 5. Scratch the 5, Skellig. Race 7, beginning of the late pick 4, is clear, no changes. In race 8, scratch the 3, Paget. Race 9, the 5, My Boy Patty, make the rider Jacqueline Davis. Scratch the 9, Perceived. The 9 is scratched in today's ninth. Race 10, scratch the 7, Nueva York. Scratch the 10, Excellent Timing. Scratch the 11, Unique Unions. Scratch the 12, Sheriff Bianco. Scratch 7, 10, 11, 12. Main track is fast. The turf is firm. 80 minutes till race number 1. Coming up, it'll be Talking Horses with your hosts, Andy Serling and the Big A, Anthony Stabile.
I don't know.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile and Andy Serling on a gorgeous Saturday here at Aqueduct, Belmont at the Big A. We are in the second to last, the penultimate weekend here for our Belmont at Aqueduct, but we, of course, will be here until the end of April. So a lot going on here today, 10 races to talk about, so we'll head right over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, you know the drill. We've got a $25 additional free play plus the $200 deposit match. Use the promo code CUP25. Head over to Naira Bets, play through Naira Bets, keep the money in the game and support racing in New York. We have a 10% try bonus on Saturdays. Always a good thing. Sign up and opt in over at Naira Bets. 10% bonus on all trifecta plays throughout the day here at Aqueduct. Got some big fields, some interesting competitive race to talk about today. And finally, last but not least, 12:30 to 5:30, America's Day at the Races, covering all of the action. We are on the turf for the first race, and race number 1, these are 2-year-old maidens, and glad we're finally not getting rained off these races. Boy, we've lost a lot of these races, and I see we both like the same horse. Talk about Nixt.
Yeah, I went to Nixt, son of Go Zapper. Comes from a good family, Moon Over Miami, and all those horses. Showed
All
speed,
those
first-time
horses?
horses. I'm trying to think of the other
It's
one.
not exactly a famous family. Moon Over Miami and one other horse that won on the turf. Also known as All Those Horses.
Yeah.
Also known, a.k.a.
Their family's been pretty productive, though.
There have been 2 turf winners. One of them was Moon Over Miami. Anyway, go ahead.
So this is a little bit of an old-school Bill Mott move. For those of you who've been following a while, Bill used to run his horses. Now, this horse was intended to run on the turf, but
So what's the old school
Bill
move
would
about
give
it?
his horses a race on the dirt.
Well, he
I'm not
didn't.
talking about anything you're going to look up on Formulator.
Right, because it's probably not a stat that has any basis in fact. It's like, this is like,
Okay.
this
Anyway.
is like a silly thing that we do here.
He left this horse in. The horse by Go Zapper. Horse showed some speed. I thought the horse ran well in context of getting a race.
He did?
Getting a race under her belt, yes, I do believe she is. He entered her on turf first time. He left her in because there was enough from the Go Zapper, and he probably wanted to get her a race. He waited to run her the mile on a 16th.
Why are we assuming all this? Why don't we just say the horse has a turf pedigree, showed some speed first time, and is interesting second time out
Because
of
I
the
have
pedigree?
other reasons I like the horse.
But what did it really show? Some speed.
I thought she ran well. Yeah, I thought that
The
was a
concern-
very good sign.
Okay, I think concern for her is she's got to get the right trip. It is the outer turf, which sort of helps. I didn't really have a lot of other places to go because I'm not overly excited by some of the horses that we've seen in here, like Invest Wisely, who ran third. I mean, you've got the horse fourth. I got the horse third. I suppose he can win. We can take a look at the race, but I didn't
She
think
didn't do a lot of running
she
in
did a
either
ton
of
of
her
running in
races,
that
right?
race. I mean, she
don't
should be
think she-
forward in here. We'll
Yeah.
see if Just a Splash shows some more speed. But I don't know. I mean, she just sort of had some speed and just sort of backed it up. I didn't think she was anything exciting.
Chief's last Grade 1 winner was her damn Enemies Encore. That's probably the best thing you could say about her.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't see. I really, to tell you the truth, I went to the 10, not so much because of what the 10 did, as opposed to what
The
else
others
is
haven't?
left. It's
Yeah.
like I looked at Liguria, And Liguria is actually an interesting race because that race had originally, the winner tax implications had gotten a 60 buyer. 3 horses ran back in a race at Delaware and ran about 20 points faster than the original figure the race got. And I think it's an interesting example because we had talked about earlier, Andy Beyer had said he's reticent to give turf figures to some of these 2-year-old maiden races full of first-time starters, especially when they had no other races on the card to back it up. And because it just feels like those races, he ends up giving numbers that end up being wrong. And here's a perfect example. He gave a number he probably wasn't that comfortable with, and it turns out that he ended up moving it up 16 points. I watched this race. I was hoping this horse ran a little better. I will say was a little bit wide, but I didn't see a whole lot exciting about this horse. Maybe I could have put it higher. Got the other Chad Brown that has an IRAD first time. Don't know anything about this horse at all. I have that horse 4th. You have 2nd. It is turf. It's nothing thrilling. It's the first foal from the horse. They sold for a lot of money, though. I thought Erna was a little bit interesting here. We'll take a look at Erna's work. I was impressed by this work. And, you know, the last time Cherie DeVoe ran a firster in New York that we showed the workout for and was an impressive work at 2-year-old sale, the horse was very impressive in winning. For some unknown reason, they decided to rate the horse when they ran back in the Frizette, because God knows, Speed has never won a race on the dirt or the turf or anywhere. I don't know. I think the last Speed horse to win a race in America was like 20 years ago.
That filly that was
they rated her.
outside.
Yeah, they rated her. She's got a huge speed, and they rated her.
I don't think she liked the track that day.
I think she was rated. It was a foolish ride, whether she liked the track or not. Most horses handle wet tracks like dry horses tracks, but not going to the lead certainly compromised any chance that she had. It was her weapon. Anyhow, this horse worked well, paid a lot of money. Thought this horse was very interesting. Thought about putting her on top.
Yeah,
On
okay.
5s and 10s. Race number 2. Race number 2 is a funny race, and I understand a lot of people are probably going to go to the horses out of this race on August 3rd here at Saratoga, where Swift Tap finished 2nd and Buckingham Prince finished 3rd. We'll take a look at it here. They obviously should have taken the winner down that day. Swift Tap would have won that race if not interfere with in the stretch. Regardless, my problem is that was the one race that was okay. The rest of the races, I don't know. This horse really that good? And the last race, better horse or not, this horse was terrible last time.
He was not good last time. I don't disagree with you.
I mean, listen, I've got him 2nd. I'm not way against him. I'm just.
Yeah, he's a fresh gelding. We haven't seen him for almost 2 months now. See if the gelding works. I don't know. It's a little. I thought it was a. You and I have the same 4 picks. We flip flop 1, 2. We flip flop 3, 4. I thought it was. I don't want to say it was a confusing race, but.
Well, I'm not going to.
He's the one that has something different about him this time, and it's the gelding. So.
I'm not going to settle for a relatively short price in a race that I'm confused about. I'm not taking Skylander back, a horse that, frankly, last time was the time. Got the money with him last time. Got a perfect trip. Beat a bad field. I looked up some stats. Jeffrey Englehart's numbers off of wins not very good anywhere or at Naira. I mean, at Naira he's 8 for 47, $1.36 ROI. I feel like he's a last time was the worst time. I suppose he's not totally impossible, but I don't really want him in here. I think a funny horse in here is Bezos. I understand that people are going to look and say, well, why would I bet this trainer? Why? Because I'm not familiar with him. But the reality of this trainer is that he's 2 for 8 off the claim on the dirt, and with a positive ROI, and one of them was Mexican Wonder Boy, who won huge at Belmont off of the claim. And I'll tell you something, they discovered last time, I think, that the way to be successful with him is to gun.
Be aggressive.
The problem is there's a lot more pace in this race than there was last time. Between basis risk and major spin, you would think they're going to go. But I'll tell you what, if he's my horse, I'm sending them. They want to run, they're supposed to go with him, because this horse's last race was a zillion times better than any race he's
Gets
ever
an
won.
aluminum pad on.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm not betting him, but I'm curious what he's going to do.
I agree. The connections are going to scare people away, but he's a horse I looked long and hard at. I mean, the other problem I think is, and you're right, they showed aggression. Now, it's not the first time he's been aggressively ridden. In fact, he broke his maiden when he was on the lead. And
that was at a mile. I'm just saying, he ran last time. I'm not in love with him.
Yeah.
I picked the 7, Blake B here. I don't know what to do with this horse, but he ran a race 3 back that would probably win here. And his race 2 back really isn't that bad. I thought he'd be a better price. I fought through this race forever and ever, and decided this horse has races that can win. Got a little break after he ran poorly last time. I hope he comes back and runs for a trainer's horse occasionally run. Race number 3 at a mile. You see you're going to wire it. Well, we'll start with Plum Ali here, and we'll show the all along. whoever came up with these tactics, be they Christophe, be they Dylan Davis, be they somebody else,
A mystery partner?
really just absolutely blew it. This is a horse, and Christophe has talked to me about this a lot, that's best when she's forward. She's going to be in front, supposed to be forward. She should have been in front in this race. And to concede the lead to your only real rival, well, I shouldn't say that. There was one other rival. That horse lost the irons, or the saddle slipped.
Right, saddle slipped.
God only knows what happened to her. It was just a poor tactical move, because they showed no aggression at all through a woefully slow pace.
Walked around the racetrack, yeah.
And she's fast enough to get in the good pocket. I think she's the best horse in the race, and I picked her on top. But a lot of people like the other Christophe horse, and will show Messidor beating Evie Jets. And Evie Jets had everything her own way last time. She is in great form, but she's not getting the lead from Your Horse Kept Waiting in here.
So my horse isn't going to the lead.
Well, if Your Horse isn't going to the lead, then they shouldn't take it. They should scratch her. I mean, that's just the dumbest thing I ever heard. But anyway, so if she doesn't go to the lead, then Plum Ali should be 1-9 in here. This horse was able to circle the field from last, but saved ground the whole way. The thing about this race that bothered me was that High Opinion was even money, and she failed to show up. She hasn't run since, as far as I know. So something obviously went wrong, and I think it diminished the quality of the race, but it still was a fast race, and Evie Jets has backed it up. But my question for you, as we show Kept Waiting stretching out, as she is clearly far and away the lone speed in this race, why would you pick her, or let me ask two questions. Why would you pick her if you actually think she's not going to lead?
Because I think she's better with a target.
Well, she has no chance. She doesn't go to lead this race. She's a sprinter trying to stretch out to a mile and do something she's probably not particularly suited to against a field that is better in general than she is. So her one chance here on a track that has been very kind to horses with speed. Does Riley Falcone actually intend to take this horse back?
They're not. I don't think they're going to the lead.
Okay. Sandy, if you're watching, you better intervene, because that's the dumbest plan I've ever heard. With all due respect. Why somebody would have this horse, this race, and think, I'm going to rate from the rail in a field where I'm probably not the best horse, and I probably don't want to go this far, but I'm going to rate and try to win. That's insane.
But you understand that all of her best races are when she's off the pace.
They're at 6 furlongs.
Yeah, I got that.
I'm not sure you do.
And the I get it 100%.
She has no chance to win
It's
this race.
also, she's a different horse than the 2 times she tried stretching out. Okay. There's no way, you can't argue that. She's a different horse.
Good luck to her. She has one race that suggests, there's one race that suggests she's a different horse, her last race, and she did run well. Now,
you don't think she's a different horse from a year and a half ago when she tried going a mile?
Not really. She wasn't running particularly better races. I don't think a race in Saratoga was any good.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to believe that sanity will prevail, and somebody involved with this horse will say, if we don't go to the lead with this horse, we should have our heads examined. I'm going to assume that.
Okay.
But if my being your fourth, I thought about putting her a little higher. I don't really like her in here because I don't trust her going along. But I will say that with the rails down, her chances move way, way up because of her draw. You really think that she rates to beat Plum Ali if Plum Ali is walking on the front end?
I think
or Evie Jets if she's walking.
I think poor Kano is going to the lead from the outside, and I think the rest of them are going to grab. That's what I think's happening.
Well, Manny Franco ain't grabbing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well,
he's put Plum Ali on the lead twice, 2 times.
Mm-hmm. How'd she done?
She won one, and she got blown out of the water in the other. But I'm not going to hold the bogey against her because she ran against.
Well, no. Let me tell you something else about that race. Excuse me. She was on a dead rail.
And she shouldn't have won the Winter Memories. White Frost should have.
We'll move on. We disagree about this race.
We do.
Race number 4. Big scratch in here. Rebo's Valentine, who I will show Can't Hurry Love in this race, who looks to be the inside speed. And she got a good scratch from Rebo's Valentine.
Much like yesterday when we were talking about, Maggie and I were talking about it's all relevant, the scratch of Invest. This is a big scratch because now she is kind of left to her own devices on the front end, right? I mean.
Well, I would think that Jen said Juliet will be sitting pretty close to her. I don't really like
enough?
Can't Hurry Love. Yeah, I don't really like Can't Hurry Love. I won't be shocked if she does well. I think Can't Hurry Love's faster, but I think it'll be close. But she did run well in this race. I will give her that. You didn't pick her on top, though.
No, I went to Fancy Feline. I'm going to ride the Jimmy Bond barn a little bit here. I'm going to throw out her 2 sloppy track races.
Why? Wait a second. Didn't she have a good sloppy track race once?
I don't think so.
Well, she hasn't had a good dry track race, so I'm trying to figure out what we like about
Well,
her.
the race back in January, second off the layoff, was pretty good.
She was on a super gold rail. She got like the
She
trip
still-
of,
I thought she
she had
ran
a trip
well
of trips of trips.
She comes off an April to July layoff and runs into Let Her Inspire You. And then last time, I'm going
You
to
know how
throw the
bad she
sloppy
was that
track
day,
race.
right? She got a super pace to close into, made a run, and she hung over silver.
Now, her chances are diminished, but with Rebo's Valentine coming out of here because some of the speed left. But
So this is a hot Jimmy Bond barn.
and I think this horse's form is a little dirtied up.
Yeah, I think it's actually totally dressed up, so we will agree to disagree, but okay. It is interesting to note that she could benefit because the rail didn't seem to be a good place to be yesterday in the main track, and having an outside post isn't going to hurt her chances, but I wish her the best of luck. As far as Jessica Juliet, I scratched into her in this race. You know, I think there's an argument that the rail wasn't the place to be last time. She wasn't right on the rail. She was a little bit off of it. But I do think she was a bit compromised last time and didn't run that badly. And I'll tell you something, the way Tough Street ran, now maybe Tough Street's performance in her subsequent race has no bearing on the rates that Jet Set Julie was in. None whatsoever. And maybe it's just an aberrational effort. But considering Jet Set Juliet ran fast enough in that race to be a factor in here, and I think that people are going to stay away from the connections, but Bob Dunham has actually done fine with horses he's claimed at times. I don't love that I scratched into her because I really liked Rebo's Valentine, and I'm not way against Can't Hurry Love. She can win. She has the speed. But what about Juliana's Rose? You like her at all?
I didn't know what to do with her. She'd be one that you'd think I would love because her fast track race is her best race, and she came back in the same Cupid's Heart race that Rebo's Valentine and Fancy Feline come out of. I didn't know what to do with her, so ultimately.
She's second off a
decided to
layoff.
leave
She
her
comes
off.
out of a race where a horse ran a big race. She ran a decent enough fig. Thought she could improve a little bit. I thought she had a chance. Go in here. We'll see what happens. Race number 5. Race number 5. No, the 2 scratches in here didn't really seem to affect things.
Agreed.
We'll start with horses that are going to take money, and Mademoiselle Jackie, who was second last time. I mean, one thing I'd say about Mademoiselle Jackie is see how that horse for Todd Pletcher runs in the first race today, right? Because this horse,
Yes.
well, she beat her. Maybe it'll give you an indication how good this race was. I didn't love the race she comes out of, but I mean, she did run okay in there.
I know you don't care about the equipment changes as much as I do. You find it interesting that she improved 12 buyer points with the blinkers on last time and now they're taking them off?
No.
I think, I mean, the obvious answer is they keyed her up too much because she went that real quick opening quarter, I guess, and I'm assuming that
So you
that's
wouldn't
the
want to be the
reason.
lone speed?
This move makes, I put her second because she ran as well as she did last time. But the move makes no sense, especially in a race. Now, obviously, you don't know who's going to be in there, but I mean, how far in front is she supposed to be? She's supposed to be in front. Now,
Well,
part of the reason
there are unknowns.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
will
that's
be
part of the
famous,
reason I
could
like
be
more than a
closer.
diva.
What do you like about
Well,
her?
I just think more than a diva kind of lost all of her chance at the start last time. I know she didn't take any money, the whole thing, but she's stretching out. She's drawn inside now. Originally was in post 2. I think she's gonna be far more forward. I know Chad has him ready first time, but he does well with the second time starters as well. I think this horse has a sneaky look to her, and I knew she was going to be a big enough price on the morning line that even with the Chad Brown money, it would mitigate her being 7-2 or 4-1. I think she'll be 7 or 8-1. I think she's real live in here.
I watched her first race. I wouldn't bet her if somebody gave me $100 and said you can either have this 100 and bet her on the 2 or not have it. But hey, you never know, they can improve. I picked a Chad Brown horse that didn't do any running the surface of things either last time. I don't really see where she was squeezed early in that race, just as I don't particularly think that More Than Diva had any real trouble that mattered in her first race. But she was a little bit wide in a race that was a runoff, and she took real money behind the horse who won that race.
Yeah, 4-5.
And Irad sticks on her. I'm going to give this horse another run. So we're both taking Chad Brown horses that didn't do any running, but I think that Akela is a more likely one. I didn't see anything for More Than a Diva that I wanted, but hey, certainly not impossible that she could improve. And, you know, I mean, I don't disagree with the theory, those that have run well, but haven't run that well. But I do think Letter of Gold is very dangerous near, and we'll show her first start. And I would say that probably Pleasant Passage improved second time because of the softer turf and the more aggressive ride by Irad Ortiz, which was a sensational ride by him going the front, because she wouldn't have won if not. And she was bad last time at Kentucky Downs. She didn't lose by 5 1/4 lengths. She lost by 7+ lengths in there. She was bad. There's no doubt about it. I will say, though, and feel free to watch that race, Kentucky Downs, Jose Ortiz just gave up on her. He gave up on her in mid-stretch in that race. Now, she wasn't winning, so I'm not saying she wasn't going to be fourth. So, but she might have been a little bit closer, but she also wasn't. She might, you know what? She might have lost by 5 lengths. Maybe the chart caller, and I'm sure they used it off Trackus or something. I mean, I'm not blaming a chart caller for that, but she didn't lose by 5 lengths. She lost by more than that. By a couple more. It's not a big deal. If you watch it and you slow it down, I think you'll have no problem.
But if you're
with
watching the race, you know it wasn't 5 lengths.
Well, you watch it and you slow it down at the end and you count it and you take a look, you'll actually figure it out. A funny race, though. Anybody else in here?
No. Did we cover all of them?
Nobody else? What about Milieu? I think Milieu is going to run a little better.
She took a little money first time. That's a little money for a Bill model.
Early, but I think she's better than her first race shows. I'll put it that way. And I think
I don't like that he ran her. I don't like that he ran her in an intended dirt race next time out. And now she's back on the turf.
Right, because Bill always gets the surface right.
I just don't like it.
Because he always gets the surface right.
Well, no, but
he gets the surface wrong.
For me, I'm starting to think it might be a little bit more about distance for her. But she's not. She hasn't done much running in either of her starts. So
she's on the right surface today. We'll be famous. She's Andy off. Maybe she'll run today. Anyway, it's the first 5. We'll come back with the late pick 5 in just a moment.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
That is a reasonable question. Anyway, he's Anthony. I'm Andy. We're back. And
Does
by the way,
anybody really know Andy?
Thanks to our nobody
Exactly.
knows. Our sponsors at Saratoga Water. I don't know about you, but Skellig was my top choice in race number 6. He came out, and I took the Todd Pletcher horse, the St. Elias Homebred.
I had a push on Pletcher, so I put Pletcher on top.
Oh, I hope it's as good as that push yesterday. At what point did you get embarrassed giving these tips out? I mean, seriously.
I had 3 people give me that horse.
Okay. Those people, you seriously should never speak to all 3 of them again. You should write them out of your...
I hope I don't.
Jesus, that was embarrassing. The horse took no money and can't outrun you and I.
How about the winner paying double digits?
Well, how about a number of things about that race, but I don't want to get into it. This horse is working very well.
Yeah.
The 2 horses in this race that are actually working well, according to workout reports, are the 6 Rutter's Men and the 8 Yorkshire Prince. I end up with them 1st and 4th.
As do I. I heard the same thing about Yorkshire
You have Classic
Prince as well.
Catch a second.
Say that one more time.
You have Classic Catch.
I thought you said Classic Legacy. Yeah, Classic Catch. The other Pletcher firster. Been working well also. Bottom horse, Classic Legacy.
Not working well. In case you're interested, actually not working well. According to actual workout reports, not working well.
Okay. All right.
Just want to give the what's out there. I mean, doesn't mean the horse can't win, but the workouts reports in the 6 are much better. Not, but anyway. The people that are interested in workout.
The bottom horse.
Anthony's workout assumptions based on the page.
I think the bottom horse is a little interesting.
Why I'm second.
Yeah, I think the bottom horse is
Met a good field first time out.
Yes.
Thought could run a little bit better.
Yep.
In here, so I
fast race. I thought she was another one. I thought the 2 Bill Mott horses that are running second time today are gonna benefit from their debuts.
I thought the Scoot could run okay in here second time. Did Chase first time out?
Still trying to get that dinner from that guy, huh?
No, I've given up. Race number 7, the Hill Prince Camp, a really fun race, but it's basically a very indecipherable race because one thing was sure. There's actually 2 warning lines in here. There was 6-1 on unanimous consent,
and 2 to 5 that I would pick.
2 to 5 that Anthony would pick the horse, but that was a cinch. It makes it easy for you. All you had to do was just handicap for second. So as we watch, what I want to point about the Virginia Derby is that the chart call is wrong. Limited liability did not get squeezed.
There was no squeeze.
This is nonsense. Yeah. She came between horses. Jose actually gave this horse a very good ride.
He never lost momentum.
Got
He never
the
stopped
horses,
riding.
and this is a misnomer that he had a bad trip. The problem with limited liability, and it's not exactly not the problem for unanimous consent, is he has no speed.
None. He can't put himself. He leaves himself vulnerable to the position he was in.
They have no speed.
Right.
But that's what, because they have no speed. He also keeps drawing poorly. I mean, he's been very unlucky at the draw. Post 11 in the Belmont Derby, post 8 in the Virginia Derby, post 10 in this race.
Isn't this a good draw for, it's not a good draw for him, but
no, it's a horrendous
isn't
draw.
he supposed to just drop over?
Doesn't matter.
Does it matter where he draws?
Yes, you draw the rail and you drop over, you're going to
Well, you
immediately
don't have to drop over, you're there.
Right, you're 2 to 3 lengths closer to the pace
I guess.
without doing anything.
I guess.
So, yeah, it's a bad draw for him. I understand what you're saying.
But he has no speed.
Doesn't matter. It still likely puts him farther back
The
and
math
very more
just
likely
keeps
to
him
lose
closer, I guess. You're right.
ground
Yeah, you're
than
right.
he did. Listen, he actually didn't lose a ton of ground last time. There's nothing Jose could do, though. It was very tough to get position. And I actually like this horse. I think he's a better horse than Chug's other horse, but I just think he's so badly
Now, you wanna
outposted. So why is unanimous consent?
Talk about draws. Doesn't Celestial City benefit the most from the draw in here?
Yeah, we'll get to him. But what about unanimous consent? Why don't you tell us why you like him?
Well, he went 3 for 3 to start his career. He had zero chance to weigh the Pennine Ridge. I mean, they all had zero chance besides Emmanuel
But
to weigh the
limited
Pennine
liability outclosed him.
Ridge. Yes.
Okay, that should be relevant,
Okay.
right?
But then he takes 3 months off.
Correct.
He misses the Saratoga races, and he runs them in the Virginia Derby. Listen, he didn't run great in the Virginia Derby. He looked like a horse who probably could have used the race. I know Chad Brown horses usually don't need the race. I get all that, but I'm going to give him a chance. I think.
At the end of the day, you just like this horse. And
I'm
you
a
want to
fan.
pick him.
Well, I'm a fan of the horse.
Okay, because your
But I'm also
position
going
on
to
him
get a
isn't that
decent. I'm also
defendable.
going to get a decent enough price on him because I disagree. I think David. This was a tough line to make. I think they're going to unload on McKinnon.
I don't. But okay, that's fine. Why would they unload on McKinnon?
Because it's first time, Chad.
So what? He doesn't have great numbers first time out. Okay, but nothing special.
I think they're going to unload on this.
The thing to remember about
trainer
Chad with his trainer switch numbers, which even the phony stats you use are not great, is that his good numbers are with Europe, foreign shippers coming in.
The North American
domestic
ones
are. But listen, he also did a great job with the horse from the last California. Who got
I love
Beach
how
Patrol.
you dismiss my stats. You'd rather look at an over you completely dismiss the fact that they are pinpointed to.
No, they aren't. No, they aren't. Here's the problem with them, Anthony.
They're more recent.
No, the problem is no.
But they're more of a broad stroke. I got it.
No, you don't know. But that's okay. You can tell me why. Because if you actually look at the stats in Formulator, you can go through and look at the horses and you can see, oh, this guy is 0 for 15, but every one of them was 30 to 1 or more, so it's not a worthwhile stat. Oh, he's 0 for 15 and 7 of them were under 3 to 1. That's very meaningful. So without being able to get context, stats are particularly meaningless and deceptive. So by actually putting the stats up, and I can look at them and I can look at shorter periods of time and longer periods of time and see if they're different, which I do. But most importantly, you can look at who the horses are and you can see, is this a stat that involves meaningful horses? And I think that's very important. And also, just in general, when you look at a guy and the guy's a guy who doesn't win a lot is, 12, 13% trainer. 4 for 33 in this, but I noticed that only 6 of them were short prices, and he won with 3 of those. That kind of matters when the horse fits today.
It's Todd Fletcher's Derby record.
It's
I
just,
get it.
There's a lot of things you have to look at, and just seeing a number in the paper is just got no context at all. And statistics, you have to be very careful with them. As far as Celestial City, I know Celestial City drew well here. I don't disagree, and that's probably why David made him the favorite. And listen, I wouldn't want to make this line for this race because you're almost doomed to get at least a couple of them wrong. The problem is this was going to have to run a lot better to beat this field. And, I tried him
You think he's going to have to run a lot better than any of his last 3 races?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I think that this field he beat here this is probably a better group. Listen, to be fair, Dancing with the Stars is okay. We'll see how he does in the next race. But he's okay. I think they're better horses. I thought his race again in the Saranac was a disgrace. He had no excuse not to. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a much of an excuse.
run a little
He
bit
probably should have run a little bit better.
Should have run better.
I don't disagree.
I mean, look at the horse we hit the wire.
I don't disagree.
He stayed in the rail. Now, I bet him the time before, and I think he ran fine. I thought what Javier did well in there was get him closer to the pace. We'll see. I'm not way against him. I don't want him as the favorite. I don't think he's better than a whole number.
Well, I'm pretty convinced McKinnon's going to be the favorite. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought McKinnon was going to be the favorite.
I'll bet you this horse is a shorter price for lunch.
Celestial City showed it. I'll bet you one lunch. What do we got? 114.
114. Yeah, big week last week. Big day.
I should have made some money. I should have made some lunches with Cheese and Mia the other day. I screwed that up. Because she was a big enough price where we could have goofed
How'd
around.
your top choice do in there since you've decided to talk about your second choice that won?
No,
8 to 5 shot the loss.
You just.
Well, no, yeah. Well, I didn't like the winner, the top horse either.
Yeah. I put a second.
So anyway, the one short of the 8th. But listen, you want to cherry pick. I should have made some money with about 7 other horses. We can talk about them if you want to.
No. All I'm saying is the number was down. I mean, you don't stop.
Well,
You don't stop.
bring up races from the past. There's a lot we can bring up.
You do it all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep me in line with that.
I will.
Okay. By the way, Bobby Robato won yesterday. I wasn't allowed to pick the horse because of you.
I know.
So you cost me
Actually,
money.
somebody put up a 4-second clip of that.
Wait, by the way, I'm sure some idiot on the internet.
Well, it was got a good. I mean, that was a weird race, right? They just went 1-2 around the track, and Dawn just ran by him.
Well, the third horse, Dawn was best.
No question.
Dawn ran a super race.
Yeah.
The third horse got a horrifically bad ride there. I have no idea why he didn't go forward with that horse. In fact, he went backwards after theoretically.
Backwards after going forward. Yep.
I think Grand Sonata is a little dangerous near. I don't know how good he is. I wonder if a little less distance might be okay. I don't know what to make of him. I think he's going to run a little bit in here. To me,
I know he's got two decent things, but his Gulfstream Park races just look better, right?
The more aggressive ride between the 6 Be Better and the 7 McKinnon will be beneficial to whichever horse chooses to be more aggressive. I'm thinking that Irad's going to be aggressive with Be Better. He is the fastest horse in this race. And the other thing I like about Be Better is there's going to be a horrible opinion out there that, and it's obvious from looking at him, he can't run without Lasix. Fortunately, that awful trainer he has, Todd Pletcher, probably well aware of that. So I have trouble believing that Todd Pletcher would run him back in a race that he knows he can't use Lasix in if he was overly concerned that it was going to become an issue. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe Todd Pletcher, how many Eclipse Awards has he won?
I don't know.
How many Saratoga titles has he won?
I think it's a concern.
I don't think it's a concern.
But I agree with you.
I know. I was circumventing. This horse has enough turf pedigree. He has enough talent. He's in this field.
And he's supposed to be forward. He's supposed to be forward in a race that doesn't feature any real speed.
But if he's not aggressive, then I think that Fabian Pratt will be aggressive like he was yesterday and got second with a long shot because he outrode other riders in that race, something we've seen from him. The problem McKinnon will show him finishing third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf is he's just not that good. He's just not that good.
Yeah, he beat up on lesser competition in those 2 stakes races in California. He was a 2-year-old.
He's never run a particularly fast race. I mean, this race fell apart.
The Breeders' Cup was a good race, but he was picking
has
up.
Turned out to be nothing this year.
Yep.
He was okay on synthetic, but he really didn't do anything on the turf. And I think, this race is just kind of fell apart. And how good were the Dakota Gold?
Not for nothing. He has not been particularly good since. Now, look, I get it. You have a good 2-year-old. You're going to try him on the dirt. And that's what they did in the Sham.
But his turf races, even money, he's fourth. He does no acceleration.
The last 2 races are the last 2 races aren't very good. The last 2 races, they're saying they moved them to the East Coast.
How long has Chad had for him? How long has Chad him? 3.
Well, they said they moved them. Apparently, they moved them to the East Coast because there's more opportunities to run on the turf here, and I completely understand that. But you'd have to think that based on those last 2 races, they're just kind of searching at this point because he did not do any running in either. He really hasn't done much running in any of his races this year, and they've been on 3 different surfaces.
And he has the accoutrements to be overbet. I don't think he'll be overbet as you do, but you could be right.
I think he will be the favorite.
I'll be shocked if he is, and he shouldn't be the favorite. He's the slowest horse. I have trouble believing the slowest horse will be the favorite, but we'll see how it works out. This is a funny race because there are horses near that are tough to make, but that doesn't mean that it's hard to make a strong opinion. I even think the 9 Wicked Fast has a chance in this race, believe it or not. I don't think he's totally impossible. He's run races that give him a chance. Got Trevor, who knows going to do everything he can to give him the right trip. He's been the one guy here who's acutely aware of the rail. I mean, others are evacuating the rail on the inner turf to let him come through.
He's just sitting there.
Shall remain nameless. Race number 8. What'd you do in race number? Oh, well, this was a lock. You were going to Linda Rice, second-time starter. I'm going to give you some stats. Linda Rice, second-time starting 2-year-old in a dirt sprint. In maiden claiming races, she is 0 for 3.
Wow.
She's only 4 for 15 in all maiden races with 2-year-old second-time starters. Those stats don't really hold up for 2-year-olds. And I'm assuming it's why you like her. And I've got
Part
her
of the reason,
some.
yeah. I mean, I just thought that.
Why else? Him. Excuse me.
Well, I don't know. He didn't break particularly well last time either. He's getting on a fast track.
Broke a little slow in a race that fell apart.
It's a bad. Listen, it's a bad bunch of horses. I'm going to gravitate to what I think I know, at the very least. I mean, you really want anybody in here?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay.
We'll actually show a bunch of the race that they come out of. And the horse I think you want out of that race is MCRR, in my opinion. I mean, MCRR is the 1A in this race, and we're going to show you the start and show you what happens. This horse will break well in the red. They're going to the lead right here. And we're going to now show you the head-on of what happens is you see her you see an instant, and they hurt the 1-2, obviously, but it also hurt her, or him, excuse me. Okay, he comes in a little at the beginning, but it affected the 1. And watch what's going to happen. It's the horse on the outside in the pit. This is a very reckless
Purple
ride
hat.
here. Very reckless, and comes in and causes a chain reaction. I'm not sure who, I think that was, I don't want to say because I'm 100% sure I don't want to convict somebody, though I do pretty much surely know who it was. That was a real issue. I don't know if the horse should have been suspended. I assume he was. That was pretty egregious and reckless. I thought this horse ran very, very well when you consider him. You only got beaten ahead in this race. And out of the horse in there, I just think that's the horse you want very much. Destin Hoofman got a pretty good trip overall on the outside, and it is a great name. I mean, and couldn't even get by this horse who did all the dirty work. And the race just collapsed at the end. And that brought Testadura into the race. It brought Saratoga Banker into the race. It brought Fast Study into the race because the race was just collapsing at the end. But it was collapsing at the end. And the horse who did more of the dirty work and had trouble in the race was MCRR. So to me, that's clearly the horse you want in that race. My problem is I don't want any of them. Well, I think it was a bad race.
There, MC Stables and Double R Rudy Rodriguez.
Wow.
That's how they come up with the name.
That's pretty clever. Were you involved in that?
Not at all.
No?
Naked and Famous was the only one I was around for.
Naked
And I lost a $20 bill because I told Libby that she couldn't get it past the Jockey Club.
Yeah. I lost $400 when I said they couldn't get gas station sushi past them, but, you know, anyway. So, you know who's against the track last time is Flashy Alex. It does get a rider change, positive rider change. I like
How's that taste coming
the
out of you now?
sixth. Oh, it is. that other rider, with all due respect.
He's a good kid. He tries hard.
I'm sure
but
he's trying hard.
Probably
This
not,
is a tough circuit for him.
Yeah, it is.
Garth Road. I like Garth Road a lot. This race. I found a funny stat for.
You're really sucking up to this Ray Handle, boy.
I found a very funny stat for Ray, actually, where New York bred maiden claimers, maiden special maiden claimers, the Dirty's 5 for 12. There is a $38 horse in there, but it's still a positive ROI without it. That was supposed to won by 100 at Belmont, actually. I
Only paid $16,000 for this horse. They ran a horse special weight first time, so it's not even like they're.
This horse chased a pretty quick pace that day.
Decent horse, too.
I don't think ran badly at all in there. I think this horse makes a ton of sense in this race. I like Garth Road in here. I threw in the 9. I don't know. D's Speedstra.
Okay.
Just ran against better horses in the first 2 races, and I didn't really want the other horses that have run so much against lower level. But I'm going to use the 6 with the 8 and 9 primarily, a little 7 maybe. Race number 9. Despite the fact that I knew you'd pick Internal Capital, I still picked him in this race.
I tried not to.
No, you didn't.
I promise you I did.
No, you didn't.
I tried to make
There's
a real
nobody
case.
here that believes you.
I tried to make.
Your nose is growing.
Tried to make a real case for the 2 and 3, but I couldn't.
I like Scott's shirt today.
I
I'm
did.
just laying it out there. Show Steady On to start out, a horse that David has as one of the favorites in here. We sort of go from inside out. He actually ran well last time, but he so much had the run of the race, and I didn't I don't think the horse he was doing with him ran badly the next time. He didn't run that well, though, in his subsequent start. And I just thought he had the run of the race. And
I don't know how good that field is.
Yeah, I kind of wonder that myself. Indemnify had run well, but kind of had his chances. The Pletcher numbers off of maiden wins and the turf are not that good. They're the same for routes and sprints, so I didn't separate them because they're all just sort of the same. They're not terrible. They're almost 20%, $1.50, but it just sort of reflects horses that are relatively short prices. I mean, these are horses that are 5-2. They're winning at a less than 20% clip, and I think that sort of fits with Steady On. I suppose can win. I mean, Dancing with the Stars is kind of the horse to beat, isn't he? I mean, he's running against better horses. If you think Celestial City's going to have a big chance of the stake, how do you not like him here? I mean.
I got him fourth.
Fourth?
I thought the Pletcher, I can't get a good gauge on either of the Pletcher horses.
Well, impulsiveness isn't good, so he's easy to get a gauge on. When has he done any running in his career? He's at a slow pace, a crawl to win first time out. He's the fourth best horse in a bad maiden race.
Don't one of them figure to be, well, I guess Java Buzz will go.
Well, if Java Buzz isn't in the lead here, then there should be there's some other, should be it's just insane. I mean, Linda has to be going with him. Linda is stretching out of the turf off a win. She's 1 for 7. She's 1 for 5 overall. Obviously, with maidens, I mean, 1 for 7 overall. I think the 4 is the horse to beat, near nothing against him. Internal Capital will show his win. Go ahead.
We're showing the win, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
no, we're showing his dirt race.
Well, the debut, there was.
Debut was bad.
There was a little push on the horse. Debut wasn't great, and Cabanillas came back and then won well in Saratoga, but won in and won the Virginia Derby. And the blinkers really seemed to wake this horse up last time. Sat off of a sharp enough pace and just galloped. I really tried to make a case for the 2 Pletcher horses. I know they all have similar figs, but I couldn't. I tried.
3, but okay. Anyway, I've got him on top, but I thought it was mostly 4s and 7s. A little Tulane. I never really liked Tulane. I know he beat Dancing with the Stars, but I thought Dancing with the Stars' form has improved since then, and he's coming off a bit of a layoff, but didn't think it was impossible. Race number 10.
La Finale.
The biggest shock on today's card, without question, is that Linda Rice left both halves of the entry.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, literally.
I wrote one.
I know it's early. There's still a chance. Right?
I literally wrote 1A.
I had a different video assuming she'd scratch Ghost Giant for Not Far Now.
Oh, I thought Click of That would scratch.
Oh, I didn't know which one, but I knew one of them had to come out. I'd have lost a lot of money, Linda, if I mean, really.
I said, oh, Click of That's coming back in like 9 days. Like, she'll scratch Click of That.
Well, 1 to 9 shot. It's already gone down. This was the first leg of the pick 6 was, if the first leg of the pick 6 was, will Linda run both horses to the last? I mean, everyone would be eliminated. There'd be a carryover right away. Shaw could win the next 5 races, and it would be over. Yeah, there's no question about it. I'll tell you something about Ghost Giant. We'll show him winning, beating Not Far Now. You're just going to keep picking him. Good luck with him today. I guess it's not possible, but this was at a mile, obviously, for Not Far Now. Even though he had a perfect trip, it still was a little far for him. Ghost Giant ran very, very well in here, though he got also a great ride from Kendrick. I'll tell you something about Ghost Giant. We've got plenty of races going short that are good. We've got no problem with this horse going short.
Don't you feel like they're playing Not Far Now's game today? Because he looks like he's supposed to be clear on the lead in here, and I don't know.
Clear on the lead in here.
Who else is going to go with him?
Well,
he's fast. I guess
I'd like to
Phantom
think
Smoke
that
could
the
go.
assistant to Tom Morley and somebody is saying to Eric Cancel, you know you're riding a really fast horse. You're supposed to be aggressive. Now, I'm not saying he has to be in front of the 9, but he's certainly supposed to come out of the race riding. And if I were Eric Cancel, I would have done some deep soul searching after the race that we're going to show here, the race against Phantom Smoke. Because now Irad Ortiz is riding Not Far Now. And I don't think I've ever seen another rider make another rider look bad as much as Irad Ortiz did with Eric Cancel here. Eric was riding a horse Deep Cover that is significantly faster than the other horse. And he couldn't steady behind him enough. This horse has only won when he's gone to the lead. And Irad knows that Eric's inside of him, so he's in the 1 3/4 path, 2 1/4 path, somewhere in there. He's going to nurse Eric up into the inside, and he's going to intimidate him. And Guy's going to knock Irad Ortiz for his aggressive riding. I don't think he did anything. I think he absolutely completely took advantage of another rider in this race and just made him look bad. Eric should have been in front in here. Now listen, I bet the winner. You bet Deep Cover in here. You were right, I was wrong, I cashed. And one of the reasons were, I mean, this is just, I mean, he really
My head almost
Well,
exploded.
how
this day.
deep cover wasn't in front here? Now, I understand that in this particular situation, Not Far Now has more speed than Phantom Smoke. That's not even discussable.
Right.
Having said that,
It makes it look like deep cover doesn't have enough.
you'd like to think if you're Eric
Yeah.
Cancel, you're looking forward to another opportunity to at least be more aggressive.
If
And
this
Eric
doesn't-
has
if
been
this-
aggressive in a lot of races.
If this doesn't show the loyalty of the Morley barn, I don't know what ever will. I don't know what else you can do
I couldn't
to
agree.
get taken off a horse.
I can't. I don't want to be too hard on him, but
Well, I mean,
Irad really just embarrassed him in that
I
situation.
mean, and then he only gets beat a half length doing something he does not want to do. He doesn't
Right.
want to pass horses.
Oh, if you bet on, I picked Phantom Smoke and thought he was going to win, and he won and I was wrong.
That was a microcosm of my meet up there.
That was
That's
just, I don't know
what
about
went
that,
on the
but
whole
we'll
time.
agree to disagree on that. But
Yeah.
but that's another. But that was ridiculous. That horse should have won. There they are, by the way. They're assembling. I told you. You think you're right, just good. But you know what? I'm not sure you are. This could be like, what's that movie with?
Just stop,
What's
please.
that movie where with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt?
Was it one of the Bourne movies?
No, and the guy John Sterling, the guy.
The Yankee announcer?
No, got the wrong.
It is
The Adjustment
high.
Bureau. The Adjustment Bureau.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
You never saw it? Oh,
No, I
you
don't think
kind
I-
of
I
like
don't
that
think I
movie,
saw it.
actually. That's kind
That's
of.
not is that Ben Affleck or is that Matt Damon?
No, it's not Ben Affleck.
I don't remember that
It
movie.
had nothing to do with it. Anyway, I'm going to use Deep Cover, Ghost Giant, and I got your horse. Oh, but you've got to have Yarrow second. You should really find
Love
out if you
Yarrow.
could buy into Yarrow. You really should, because
Homebred,
you got to
no
like the horse
shot.
more than the connections do.
No shot. They're not going to let me in.
I'm getting a funny
Broke through the
text.
gate last time.
Broke through the gate. That's why you lost.
Of course.
You love horses that are too slow. Anyway, that's the show. Hope you had as much fun as we did. Head over to Naira Bets. Pay your respects. There they are. It's the Adjustment Bureau. I'm telling you right now.
Gotta stop,
If you
man.
saw that movie, you would laugh. No,
Really
it's about
gotta
hats.
stop.
It's not, but you would laugh. Free $25 play plus a $200 deposit match. You watch that movie, you say, he was right. I like that movie. That's kind of I'm telling you, it's your cup of tea. Cup25 is the promo code. You will match up. We'll give you that free $25 play with the Breeders' Cup coming up just 13 days away. Somebody asked me about the weather report for the Breeders' Cup, by the way. Literally.
Apparently, there was 2.5 inches of rain on
yeah.
forecast. They can't tell you if it's going to rain tomorrow.
There was
but
an inch and a
people
half
are
of
going
rain
to
coming
list-
up tomorrow 3 days ago, and now there's
People
none.
are going to look at 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And panic about it.
There's sick people in this
10%
world.
try bonus. I gotta opt in for that in just a moment. And 12:30 to 5:30, covering all the action, all 10 races. Have a good time. Oh, Chris Griffin's here, so Chris will be giving you a reprise. A reprise?
I'm heading up to Margaret now. Yes,
Reprise scratch and changes. Have a great day at the Big A.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Belmont at the Big A. The main track is fast, the turf is firm. 30 minutes till race number 1. Here are today's scratches and changes. Race 1, start of the early pick 5 is clear. No changes. Race 2, beginning the early pick 4. Scratch the 4, Jake Rocks. The 6 is 1 pound over. The 9, Bezos, races with 1 aluminum pad on. Race 3 is clear. No changes. Race 4, scratch the 5, Rebo's Valentine. The 6 is +1. Race 5, start of the pick 6. Scratch the 1, Appalachian Trail. Scratch the 8, Sun B. Rider change on the 11, make it Dylan Davis. Race 7, start of the late pick 5, scratch the 5, Skellig. Race 7, start of the late pick 4, is clear. Race 8, scratch the 3, Paget. Race 9, rider change on the 5, my boy Patty. Make it Jacqueline Davis. Scratch the 9, Perceived. Race 10, scratch the 7, Nueva York. Scratch the 10, Excellent Timing. Scratch the 11, Unique Unions. Scratch the 12, Sheriff Bianco. Scratch 7, 10, 11, 12. Race 1, early pick 5. Main track is fast. Turf is firm. Good luck.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.